curse. Still, that should just not be happening. So hopefully for Isurus, they rally and have a little bit of a better game. And CNB, well, they pretty much were playing as best they could, I think. It looked like they were firing it off on all cylinders. So just do the same thing again. Easy plan.
Yeah, more or less. Well, we'll see Axe as well as Batrider and Lion banned out in the first stage. Still nothing too out of the ordinary, but we are going to see some of the heroes from last game taken out of the pool this time around. But it is going to leave the likes of Juggernaut and Troll available to CNB if they want to get their hands onto them, and I think this is probably just a question of which one do they want.
Yeah, so CNB, they're going to ban out one of those heroes, and Isurus most likely will pick up the other one. It is possible that they prioritize a support, but if they don't want to go for the Venge, as they have not in the past game, and if Lion's also not there, then first picking a support seems a little bit less attractive. Witch Doctor's a possibility, but only really if you have two heroes to pick up in a row. So I would expect to see either the Troll or Juggernaut picked or banned, depending on obviously who gets through.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that CNB were ducked 30 seconds of their reserve time since they were late to open things up as well as late to get into the second lobby. We're going to see Shadow Fiend banned and then the Troll first picked up by Isurus.
So it looks like Isurus, they knew exactly what they wanted, and CNB going to grab a sniper in response to that Troll, plus a Clockwork. Okay, this draft is really going on now. Okay, so the Troll Warlord, obviously a very strong hero for the first pick, and CNB grabbing their initiation with the Clockwork and Sniper, or initiate for the Clockwork as well as the Sniper. Lanes are going to be decent for both sides in this game.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm tempted to say that Isurus maybe have a slightly better draft, I suppose, just because DDX is so comfortable on the Storm Spirit, and a hero that he really does like playing and works well against the Sniper. One of the big reasons why he picked Clockwork and Sniper at the same time is so you don't have to deal with the Clock who gets right up in the face of Sniper, but Storm Spirit functions in a pretty similar manner. We'll see Centaur banned out by CNB, and for the Isurus bans, it's going to be Rubik and Skywrath Mage.
Storm Spirit is also a hero that can completely bypass the obstacles that Clockwork puts up. So, though he may occasionally get hit by those cogs if he's not prepared for it, he will very rarely be trapped in them. So, having a hero that could do that, having a Troll Warlord who, if he's trapped in cogs, can just turn around and man fight with his evasion, going to be super useful for Isurus Gaming in this particular game. We have a couple supports being banned out by the Isurus side, and CNB, even though the Isurus Gaming side needs supports as well, they're instead going to ban out offlane heroes in the Legion Commander as well as that Centaur. I guess just trying to get a better time for their Clockwork, but if Isurus Gaming really want to, they could just grab a Tide and try to match that hero up with Clock.
Yeah, I think that would be completely acceptable for them and probably a pretty good way to go about it. CMB's Earthshaker pick is going to be pretty nice at securing Sniper some extra space. If Troll or Storm Spirit want to get on top of the Sniper, they're going to have to deal with the Fissure, which is very disruptive.
Yeah, it's at the very least a form of crowd control. Rubik and Skywrath Mage, those CC effects come out very, very quickly, which is why I'm pretty sure Isurus Gaming are going to ban those out, and we'll let some other supports through the pool, like Earthshaker Fissure takes a while, Vengeful Spirit Magic Missile can be dodged by Storm Spirit, whereas you can't really dodge a Seal or a Telekinesis, and Isurus going to grab an IO, so that was banned out, or that was not banned out in the first game, I don't believe, but IO Troll Warlord, or if they want to grab a Bristleback or something like that, that could really get some serious value.
CMB will get their hands onto the Witch Doctor eventually, and out of the supports that were left in the pool, I think that's probably the best one, especially since it doesn't seem that either of these teams really like the Vengeful Spirit. And as far as supporting duos are concerned, Earthshaker Witch Doctor is pretty high up there, although they might have favored the Disruptor since they are dealing with an IO.
Yeah, the Witch Doctor is a reasonable counter to the IO as well. You relocate someone in, and instantly the cast gets some bounce value. So most of the time it doesn't work perfectly, but that's pretty much the idea, and it works well enough to be considered as a possible counter pick. It also has a stun, so it's again dodgeable by the Storm Spirit, but you have a chance to chain stun him now that you have a hook shot in, followed up with a fissure, followed up with a cask, etc., etc. So we'll see how this IO is really going to perform in this game. It's another hero that kind of in a roundabout way can get to the back and deal with the sniper. And with the Mirana pickup for Isurus, it is possible that this Mirana is core, but it's, I would say, a little bit more likely that they're just going to have the Mirana fire off arrows and see what she can get.
Yeah. It's an okay pick, I suppose. I'm not really sold on the Mirana since they don't have any setup for the arrow, But if you have a good day and you can just land arrows constantly on the likes of the sniper, things could go very well for you. So, yeah, why not?
Yeah, so sometimes the Mirana just lands all the arrows, and if you land a single arrow, let Troll Warlord get a couple hits, or let Storm Spirit get a couple hits, it's going to be a kill no matter what. Maybe not if it's Clockwork, but if it's anyone else, then that's most likely going to be lethal. But the heroes in lane, the Troll Warlord and the Storm Spirit, they're really not going to be able to help out the Mirana that much as far as setting up. So it might be a little bit of a difficult game for the Mirana player, assuming this Mirana, of course, is going to be played as a support hero. It is still possible that she's going to be a core, but I don't really know if you want that up against Sniper. The odds of you winning a man fight up against a Sniper as a Mirana are incredibly low.
Yeah, and even if they play her as a core, the problem's still going to remain that there's just not that much setup for arrows. Even though you could pick up another support to somewhat remedy that fact, yeah, I don't really feel it. I think this is just going to be a roaming bottom.
And for CNB, they have their two supports. They have a mid laner in the Sniper, just looking for someone to protect and get a little bit of farm. Yeah, the Faceless Void being banned out, getting rid of that dangerous combination with the Witch Doctor would also just be a reasonable hero to have farming the lane. And, well, there it is. A little bit late to the party, perhaps. It's nowadays very rare that you see Juggernaut in that fifth pick slot. But if you're looking for a late game carry and Juggernaut's in the pool, well, I mean, might as well go for it.
Yeah, look no further. They are a little bit lockdown light for the Storm Spirit unless they actually get everything to connect, I suppose. They will have to commit a lot. But in the end, that's probably for the better. I think CNB have a pretty nice draft at their disposal. If Juggernaut's able to get the farm, that is. If he gets behind, he might end up being a little too squishy up against the Troll in the Storm.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't really see Juggernaut getting behind in this game. CNB, they'll be very willing to roam around with their Witch Doctor and Shaker because they know that Juggernaut, with that spin, is going to be safe most of the time. And, like, what's the worst case scenario here for Juggernaut? He's up against a Broodmother. That's, okay, probably one of the worst ones that he could be going up against. But this is picking a Brood into an Earthshaker and a Juggernaut who could very easily just go for Battle Fear and be happy. But the Juggernaut should be getting his farm, though I would say if any offlane hero has a chance of shutting down this Juggernaut completely, it is going to be that Broodmother.
Yeah, in the right hands and in the right situation, Broodmother can completely get out of control. It's a little bit unfortunate that the Brood is pretty much going to be playing in her own game and not really contributing much to the other lanes, but we'll have to see if that's for better or for worse. They do have an Earthshaker up against it, which can be destructive up against the Broodmother, but not until the later portions of the game. Early game, they really don't have a great way to deal with spiders.
Yeah, typically, I like to compare Earthshaker to the Sand King in that they're, well, both melee strength support heroes. But Sand King is definitely what you want up against Broodmother, and more so than the Earthshaker. So CNB, they don't really have a great hero to deal with the Broodmother early on. But hell, if they get a little bit of True Sight, it's going to be very easy to kill her off because they have enough stuns to kill her off, and they have enough damage to kill her off as well. If Dosai just avoids that, then he'll be golden. Otherwise, the lane could be a little bit difficult. So I actually really like this pick from Isurus. Broodmother is definitely one of the more fringe heroes in the game. Sometimes she'll be just going off. Sometimes she won't be doing jack. But waiting for the last pick to pick her up is definitely the way to do it. And I think this is a reasonable way to go for Isurus.
Well, did you just start lineups on the Radiant side? We are going to have Isurus with Dulce Mania playing on that Broodmother. RJ Matt going to be handling our Troll. Nadera on the Mirana and fullback on the Io. Safe Lane Storm looks like it's going to be played by DDX. Whether he actually stays here or not, it's a different story.
And for the CNB side, we got Jubilu playing the Clockwork quest. Is going to be handling the Sniper in the mid lane. Has no regen. Oh, there it is. Okay, Alamau on the Earthshaker is going to give him some. Ned's going to be handling the Witch Doctor with sentries and dust at the ready for the Spider. And then, of course, up towards top lane, Klotz is going to be playing the farming Juggernaut with the Stout Shield and Quelling Blade, looking to completely crush this Broodmother as far as the last hits are concerned. I would expect CNB to have a defensive tri lane up there, but for right now, they're going to try to grab this bottom bounty rune.
You know, have to see where this ends up. Right now with the Clockwork as well as the Earthshaker, they can pretty easily take this one out with a nice fissure block, and, well, Isurus just aren't close enough, it seems, to actually get it, but they have time to position themselves. Jubilee is going to be laid out down towards bottom. If he eats an arrow, things could get hairy for him. We have the ward dropped out by the Io to get vision around this spot as well.
Well, Jubilu is in the perfect position right now. And if he catches either of these two heroes with Battery Assault, with Shaker there, it will be very bad. Although, that was not what they wanted. The arrow will fly. would have connected with Jubilu if he stayed where he was, but it's going to be double bounty runes being picked up for CNB. That is quite a bit of value if you do manage to snag both of them.
Yep, and on important heroes to pick up that extra bit of advantage. The Juggernaut's going to very much enjoy that extra 100 gold and experience, as is the Clockwork especially, I think. Jubilu is going to be propelled towards that level 2, and after going for Cogs level 1, it's going to be really nice. So he'll make himself a little bit of a creep farm here over in the sidelines, but these creeps don't want to stay inside the trees. He's going to have to consistently block them.
And it's probably just not worth his time. He'd rather just mess with the creep equilibrium a little bit, and then just be fine with that. But the Storm Spirit versus Clockwork lane, it's actually not too terrible for Jubilu, and the Io will be poking at him occasionally. But once Jubilu gets that level 2 mark, then the Battery Assault is actually a really dangerous threat towards the Storm Spirit. He will not have his ball lightning for a very long time, and until he does have that level 6, he will be at the mercy of the Cog bounce back, the mana burn damage, as well as the threat of just being insta-killed by a well-timed Battery Assault. So this bottom lane for CNB is actually really good, and it's comparable to the top lane of Isurus.
Earthshaker currently sitting behind mid. There is going to be an arrow flying through, not going to hit onto either of them. His Quest as well as Elmail are going to be able to have plenty of vision beforehand. But again, mid lane is going to be pretty much camped by supports, and it feels like that's going to maintain the case for quite some time.
Yeah, both sides just going to give a little bit of protection here and there. The great thing is for Isurus is that as long as this Mirana has mana, she can just keep on chucking those arrows, and if one connects on Quest, then the Troll Warlord will have an easy kill on his hands. Otherwise, it's not really a big deal because the Earthshaker is always going to be in this mid lane as well. RJ is going to chuck a couple of axes at said Shaker, but the Sniper Earthshaker combination is actually fairly deadly. If you could funnel any enemy into a corner, like if the Earthshaker blocks like this, then just carpet this entire area with shrapnel, there aren't many heroes that can get away with from that, and Troll Warlord is definitely not one of them.
No, for sure. Not the greatest of HP pulls there. For the offlane of Isurus, it's looking pretty good for the Broodmother, although right now they do have the Earthshaker with a haste rune, so Dulce is going to be forced to play defensively. But once that Soul Ring comes out and we get a couple more levels up for the Brood, things get really hairy, especially if your name is Ned. That Witch Doctor, if he's up against a Spider Army, there's really not anything he can do if he gets caught out alone.
Well, up towards top, Dulce is sitting right on top of a Dire Sentry. Ned has a cask here, and he has the Maledict. That's exactly what you want versus the Brood. They're going to chain stun it perfectly, looking for Kloss to contribute a little bit of damage. Where's the Dust? They're going to pop it right now, and now Dulce is going to give first blood. It will be the Maledict to get the kill. And well, in this situation, Maledict so much better than the Voodoo Restoration. Hell, it might even be better to prioritize Maledict over Cask if you're going up against a Broodmother.
Yeah. Perfect Fisher block coming out from the Earthshaker. It was nicely set up and a really well executed first blood coming out from CNB. Honestly, a Fisher block from here to here is probably about as perfect as it gets.
And the Broodmother is now going to get to some dewarding, but there is still another sentry on Ned, so odds are the Vision race is going to be very tight, and that's one that the Broodmother is most likely going to be losing. Over towards the mid lane, Sniper is actually perfectly even with RJ Mad, but RJ closing in. Shrapnel is there. Shaker is in the area as well. Where's the Fissure? Just needs to throw it out for some damage. There it is. Quest is going to draw the second kill for CNB over on the mid lane. And Jubilu is also being chased down by a whole bunch of heroes. He will get killed off by wolves, so it's 1-2, but it's still 2-0 in favor of CNB.
Yeah,
and top.
Looking good for them, but now they'll find the Broodmother yet again. Dulce dusted up and with the Maledict and the spin. Damage is too much. 3-0 is our effectual kill score for CNB. It's the only thing that Isurus have gotten is a lot of time wasted trying to chase down that Clockwork. They land an arrow, and in most cases that would be a pretty easy kill, but Clockwork with the boots is, Elizabeth with the stout shield and a decent chunk of HP, was able to pretty much run all the way from bottom lane over towards mid, and that's a lot of time that Isurus didn't want to spend chasing Jubilu for nothing.
And the Witch Doctor is in fact going to go for the prioritized Maledict build, and Klotz is also going to go for a very heavy Blade Fury build. Those are the two builds that you want to go for if you're going up against the Broodmother. Like, the Cask isn't going to be very good versus all the Spiderlings, and the Spin is great versus the Spiderlings, so you have all your bases covered. This top lane looking to be worse and worse, whereas for the Clockwork, the Storm Spirit's approaching level 6, so his kill potential is going to drop drastically, but hell, if you just don't go for the Storm Spirit at that point, just go and sit on the Troll Warlord and shut him down even more.
They'll find Jubilu again. This time they're going to be able to secure the kill with plenty of damage coming out from DDX and fullback. So at the very least they're getting something. But Clockwork is by no means shut down. He's level 4, and for offlane 5 minutes in, that's more than acceptable.
Mid. RJ Mad is going to have to run through the gauntlet of shrapnel. Exactly what I was talking about before. There's an assassination awaiting, and I think Troll Warlord is going to lose his head. There it is. Troll Warlord is going to get assassinated behind his tier 1 tower. And how nice of CNB to pretty much do exactly what I drew on the map before.
Definitely so. Things are looking really good for CNB, all things considered. Their Juggernaut's free farming way up in the top lane. He's going to have a finish to cool it on top of his phase, 5.5 minutes in. Sniper, on top of getting decent farm in the mid lane, has 2 kills under his belt, and you really can't ask for much more. And Clockwork going to get his level 6 at a respectable time. It's not that Isurus aren't getting anything in return, but they're just getting slightly less.
And part of it is because their supports just aren't doing anything because they can't do anything. Nidar has been throwing out arrows whenever he can. To my knowledge, not a single one has hit yet, and that's not saying anything about his skill as a player. It's just saying that, yeah, freehanding arrows as a Mirana with absolutely nothing to help out is really, really hard. Fullback, similarly, has just been in the jungle because Io can't really do anything in this type of circumstance either. So Isurus effectively playing with the 3v5, whereas we could see how effective Ned on the Witch Doctor is being, how the Earthshaker is being towards the mid lane. These support heroes are doing their job and then some, whereas for Isurus, they're most likely just going to be sitting back and trying to be somewhat threatening on occasion, and that's just not comparable.
Yeah, Mirana has landed 1 arrow, but it didn't get them any kills, so... And Mirana that doesn't actually get kills with those arrows pretty much could be any other hero. She'll send up towards top, and maybe, just maybe, they can connect onto Ned, but the Dire have decent vision around this back area, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, the Spider still is scouting around, and Nidara, he can maybe land an arrow here. There is some ward coverage from CNB, but you know it's actually hard to spot an arrow just through all this webbing. It's actually just really hard because of the projectile colors. They all kind of look the same, and Nidara is actually in a pretty good position right now to go for Klotz. But can they actually even kill him if they land an arrow from this distance? I don't even think that'll be lethal.
Yeah, currently sitting at almost 900 HP. Klotz is not the easiest of kills. It is a build without healing ward and without crit. Really weird to see after so many Juggernauts have been going 1-1-1. But still, very threatening in his own right. Eventually he should remedy that.
Yeah, so this early portion of this game is going remarkably well for CNB. Storm Spirit getting some free farm, and well, DDX got a pretty good start in the last game as well. But outside of that, Quest is getting a lot of farm, and the Juggernaut is getting a lot of farm as well. And, well, they actually have pretty much the exact same build. So right now, they are pretty much on the same exact wavelength. Isurus need this level 6 on Io, then they'll actually be able to contribute, or they'll just go for Quest to fall lightning. Nidara is there with a point-blank arrow. Quest is going to take a fall, popping off his shrapnel because why not? But fall lightning, as we said before, is exactly the tool you want to have in your arsenal if you're going to be going for any soft hero, let alone sniper.
Yeah, and DDX is primed to have quite a large impact inside this game, probably the one that needs to rotate around to actually make things happen. As we've seen in mid, he's more than capable of doing that. Tier 1 tower and top is going to be taking a lot of pressure from CNB with 2 range creeps, as well as a catapult. They'll fire an arrow and land squarely into Klotz, but the follow-up damage just isn't there. Klotz is going to be just fine as the creeps are tanking the tower damage, at least for the time being, and he has an Omni Slash, not somebody you really want to be collapsing upon.
Yeah, maybe if you had a whole bunch of spiders and Omni Slash would be doing how much damage, it'll be, yeah, just hitting you once. So it's pretty much just a single target, really bad nuke for an ultimate, and then all the rest will be killing off spiders. So the Juggernaut is a pretty potent threat, and he's just pushing up the top lane, not a care in the world. Is there drums coming out to him? No, Mask of Madness. So even though he has Hope Quest on the mid lane, is going to get pulled back, this time getting bailed out by a fissure, but DDX still has more mana, and Quest will take a fall. Shrapnel is carpeting everywhere except for the low ground, and DDX will get away safe and sound. Ned a little bit too late to help out. As I was saying about Juggernaut, he's not going for the, pretty, let's say, nouveau standard build on the Juggernaut, but he's now going to be able to do a lot of damage, and though he may not have as many stat points as the one level of Blade Fury Juggernaut would have, he's still just trucking because the Blade Fury got him a couple kills already, so completely worth it.
Yeah, definitely. So things have slowed down quite a bit for CNB. After the snipers died twice and Isurus are starting to pick up, we now have 2 of the Oblivion stabs towards the Orchid for DDX, and he's primed to get a very fast one too. can very easily find solo kills on pretty much most of these heroes coming out from CNB esports. So Isurus are finding themselves in a little bit of a better position as time has passed. Still the game pretty darn even. In fact, in net worth, it is exactly so. Zero doubt and slight experience advantage for Isurus.
And Isurus are going to be so much happier in just a little bit of experience. Io will not draw level... Oh, no, she will draw level 6. Okay, that was pretty sweet. Just enough experience for his level 6. Up towards top, Ned is going to channel that Death Ward, doing literally no damage. And he's actually getting his ass kicked by spiders. He will get injected in the face and will go down. Dulce, in the meantime, trying to wrap around to safety. Alamau is there to cut him off, but the Shaker has no points in Enchant Totem. He's body blocking. Here comes the relocate. Dulce is going to get some substantial backup here from the Troll Warlord, but Jubilu is here as well with the hook shot. This is not really a fight that the Radiant want to take. Omnislash just into the spider. They will get that kill, and I don't think they can get anything else because they will just get yanked back because of that relocate. But it is just going to be a 1-for-1 in the top lane. Yeah, that's relatively low kill count, despite what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, a lot of rotations coming out from both sides, but in the end, that's pretty much it. They get a kill onto the offlaner, who had already gotten a kill onto the Witch Doctor. I think that's pretty even for both sides, although CNB do mop up a handful of spiders in the process.
Well, 5-5. First relocate being used, fullback showing off his level 6, and doesn't really result into too much, except for, I guess, forcing Isurus to come with a couple more heroes. Not really a huge lead there. Jubilu having the hook shot is, probably just as important as the relocate for the Io, so both sides with some pretty substantial abilities to initiate. However, I really thought that fullback was going to come in with Storm Spirit. I feel like the Storm Spirit could just do a lot more guaranteed damage than the Troll Warlord at this point.
Yeah, definitely a lot more sticking power, and yeah, with DDX, his build is doing quite a lot of work. He has the completed Orchid here. At less than 12 minutes in the game, DDX has been more or less untouched. That's exactly where you want to be as a Storm Spirit. Midas build is going to be the choice for Dulce, and consistently throughout the game, it is going to be pretty nice for him. I'm not sure what he builds into this after the fact. What are your thoughts on the Broodmother's items?
Well, the great thing about Broodmother is that you could pretty much go for any item, and then it'll be fantastic. If you want to, you could go for a Ring of Aquila, you could go for Necrobook, and then just be a pushing monster. It's not it's not the best build in my opinion. You could just go straight Butterfly. I know that BBC like to do that with their Broodmother. You could go for an Orchid for utility. There are so many ways to go, and when you have a Hand of Midas, you can go for more of those options. So I really like getting the Hand of Midas on the Broodmother. They're going to relocate up towards top. Big ball landing in onto Klotz. He's going to get silenced. However, DDX is not going to fully commit there. They're just going to relocate up and then most likely just get yanked back. Once again, it's an uninspiring relocation in, but I mean, they had nothing to set up there beforehand. It's going to be a kill over in the mid lane, actually, as I assume an arrow landed there.
Yeah, they actually leave the Storm Spirit here, so maybe DDX can get a kill on a Juggernaut in return. Zip in, Orchid. They'll be able to pull back Clods. They don't have mana for Arrow, but they don't need it when they get that many bashes. And, well, dominating spree for Scorn. Fisher lands on all three now. Hookshot into RJ Mad. The battery assault doing a lot of work. Jublue, however, is getting turned upon. RJ Mad inside the cogs, going to town. Troll Warlord, never a hero you want to get caged into. All things considered, it's a 1-for-4, as there's a couple of other heroes to die in the sidelines.
Yeah, Broodmother and the Witch Doctor traded their lives. I think Broodmother was trying to race the Death Ward and came out ahead just slightly. Witch Doctor got the kill afterwards. Must have been Maledict to get that. So overall, it's a huge set of wins for Isurus, and it's a Storm Spirit that's really setting the pace for this game, as you really would expect from any given Storm Spirit. But man, DDX Storm Spirit is also more than capable of doing that. 5-0-0, as you said, having a very early Orchid, and it's not really a necessity as far as shutting down the enemy's spell casting and escapes and stuff like that, but it does do a lot of damage if you could dump that much into it. So the Storm Spirit buying space, this Broodmother pushing up the top lane, this game is going so much better for Isurus. Now they're going to try to go again for the Shaker. They will not get the kill immediately, but a couple more ball landings forward and they will get that one. Also forcing a TP cancel in the mid lane. That's a pretty nice win for this Storm Spirit.
After that TP is cancelled, should be a pretty easy tier 1 tower for Isurus. Nobody else is actually close. Still looking sad for Broodmother kill top. Maledict is going to connect. They have an Omnislash, but can't actually find an opening to do so. I don't think it's going to be necessary, although Dulce is going to take Ned down with him, as the Spiderlings will go ahead and mop up that kill. 1-for-1, but in the meantime, Sniper, I'm not sure where he died. It was up in top. Storm Spirit diving in deep.
They get relocated back from fullback after having already taken down the tier 1 tower. So a tower and a kill. This observe ward for the Radiant is not really one that you would expect to be there for CNB. Now they know that there is some sort of vision somewhere in this area, but it's a little bit too late for that. Jubilu, in the meantime, going to take an arrow straight to the dome. He's juking for all he's worth, but I don't think you could juke away from the Storm Spirit, especially when you get silenced. So TDX coming in just for the right click. Hey, it's a 8-0-0 Storm Spirit, and if any hero on your team is going to get mad fed, you probably want it to be that Storm Spirit or the Troll Warlord, and he's doing decently for himself as well. So this is definitely a much better game for Isurus, as they just have to try to make sure that they don't overextend. That's something that you can very easily get trapped in. If you're a farm Storm Spirit, you think you're invulnerable, you think, oh, just ball lightning out, and then you end up getting killed. But I don't think CNB really have what it takes to effectively kill off a cautious Storm Spirit.
Spin up top, going to mop up at least 12 Spiderlings for Klotz, so that's nice, but in the meantime, Roshan's been taken out by Isurus, and this is going to make it a lot harder for DDX to overextend, because usually when you have an Aegis, you can just end up zipping out. Full mana pool and health pool is ridiculous, and he's going to put to good use on the Ned, diving him under tier 2 tower, going to find an easy kill. Or is he? Soulburn is going to do him in, and well caught inside the cogs, doesn't matter when you're able to zip out. Godlike spree for DDX.
Man, this Storm Spirit is just getting out of control, and fullback is always there to give him a little bit of extra juice as well. And I mean, this is like, we're all just all talking about the Storm Spirit. RJ Matt is still getting a little bit, and even the Mirana with the Phase Boots, Wraith Band, and level 4 Arrow is a pretty potent threat. Not to mention the Broodmother, who's in her own little world playing PvE, but that's fine because her PvE is working with a Hand of Midas. So she's pressuring up the top lane. The rest of the team is pressuring down towards bottom. And where are CNB in the meantime? Getting relocated upon. It's going to be Klotz trying to TP out. Luckily for him, it's the Storm Spirit to arrive and not the Troll Warlord, but Storm Spirit sees a target anyway. It's going to be Quest, big jump forward, gets silenced, gets pulled back. A little bit of a disruption with the fissure, but I don't really see any way Quest can get out of here. He's going to actually survive, but Nadara is right here. Blink, one arrow shot, that's a kill for the Mirana, and down towards bottom. Omnislash is going to commence, not really do too much damage. GDX is going to be fine as RJ Mad just wants the tower, will get it denied from him. Now fighting to the death because he's a man. He will go down in the end. It's a double kill for Klotz. Crucially though for Isurus, they keep their Storm Spirit alive.
Yeah, and he's still sitting onto that Aegis as well. It's going to be a straight Bloodstone for Storm, and he's actually going to have that now. DDX is really just a one-man wrecking crew. There's really not much they can do to stop him. We have the makings of what looks to be a Lincoln Sphere for Klotz on this Juggernaut, and he's pretty even when it comes to the raw net worth. But if that's actually going to translate well, it doesn't seem that way, just because of the amount of mobility that Storm is able to drop everywhere, and well, the space he's able to make for his team. Dulce's going to go for a Dagon by the looks of it. I don't think there's anything else he'd go for with that null tally.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting way to go, but we'll see if it works out. I guess soft heroes means Dagon. Klotz is going to get jumped by GDX, has a Bloodstone and Aegis, so he does have more than enough to escape. Omnislash is also not available, so this is the time for DDX to be looking for a couple more kills after he has his Bloodstone completed. Unfortunately for him, running into 4 heroes up towards top lane is going to be less than ideal, but while this is happening, Troll Warlord is pushing down bottom. The split push from Isurus in this particular game, due to the Broodmother being on their team, due to the Storm Spirit's mobility, due to there being an IO in the game, is absolutely huge. RJ Mad, though, going to get jumped on down towards bottom. He needs a quick bash. He is doomed to fall, I think. Fullback has to regenerate him, but that Maledict looks like it's lethal. Bottle is a little bit too late.
RJ Mad ends up dying 358 damage that last tick of Maledict, and well, unfortunate for the Wisp, he's not able to heal him up. The Juggernaut's build is actually not going to be Lincoln's. I thought he was going for that with the Perseverance and the Ulti Orb, but just a little bit of a roundabout way of going for the Manta and Battle Fury. Looks like we see a sniper pick off over and towards mid lane. Nadera is going to pick up the last hit, although I'm sure DDX was involved.
And also up towards top, Dulce is looking for initiation onto Klotz. Potentially, he has enough Spiderling cover to make it that Omnislash isn't a serious threat. He also has a level 2 Dagon coming in, plus he has the Mirana here, so they will look for it, but it's over towards the mid lane where DDX is just going off. Man, I look away from DDX for like 1 second to see if anyone else on his team can get a kill going, and of course I miss everything. 11-0-2, now with 11 Bloodstone charges. This is the textbook Storm Spirit. He is snowballing, and that's exactly what you want.
Juggernaut finds himself a Radiant Courier, 1 smack, 2 smack. It's going to be a Courier pickoff for him. Actually had nothing on it. Leap Away is going to keep Nadera safe from the Omni Slash, and, well, now with the zipping from the Storm, he's in a whole heap of trouble. Silenced up, can't get off that spin. Now Klotz is going to get dagged down by the Brood. Nice kill still there, but in the end, it's going to be yet another Bloodstone charge for DDX.
And that's all the way up to 12. Also has fullback with him, so he's going to get a huge leap of mana due to that Soul Ring. DDX has pretty much infinite mobility right now, of course, due to the relocate, but also he has enough mana to go for, jump pretty much across the map. He's also not even level 16 yet, so he could even get a little bit stronger just with getting a little bit more experience, and that experience might be coming soon because Isurus, they're prepping for a mid lane push. The Broodmother has a web network that will allow her to reinforce fairly quickly, but they're going to ball landing up to the high ground looking for Quest, and Quest is in a hell of a lot of trouble right now, slowed down by the hook shot, but I don't think it's going to stop DDX. He still has that Aegis, and he still has the IO to support him. Jubilee losing the man fight to the Storm Spirit. Mirana is going to come in for 1 arrow shot to kill steal again. Guys, please give your Storm Spirit kills he deserves. I'm sure he's a little bit salty in their team speak or whatever, but hey, it's still 3 kills for Isurus. It's still 14 Bloodstone charges for the Storm Spirit. And by the way, Broodmother is still just PvEing up towards top.
Yeah, it's just going to expire for Isurus, so in the end it would have served their troll better, but man, the Storm is completely out of hand. 3,200 gold in his pocket for whatever he wants to go for, and he's going to find himself a kill onto Klotz. He does have an Orchid, but chooses not to use it. Now turn around with the Witch Doctor ultimate is going to drop in low. Will Maledict do enough damage, or can he block it with the Storm Spirit Zip? With Io coming in, it looks like he's just going to be fine.
Yeah, he gets a little bit of regen from the IO, and it is something that you actually can survive with. As you said, you're invulnerable during ball lightning, and actually you're not completely invulnerable. You're just mostly invulnerable. He's going to jump back in for Klotz, in fact, actually. He wants this kill, and he's going to get slowed down. Ball landing out. Omni Slash is there as well. He will take a fall, but he has a 10-second respawn. That is going to take a 5-second arrow in the meantime. Quest is going to arrive. Nadera is going to fall short with the damage output, and Jubilee, well, fortunately for CNB, is going to miss the hook shot. Fullback going to get sniped down by the sniper. But we have a Broodmother circling around, and DDX is back from the dead. Going to jump straight to the backlines. Will get stunned immediately. Echo Slam is there as well. He's going to die again. That's 2 deaths on the Storm Spirit. A huge amount of gold for CNB. And you know what I was talking about? That's exactly what happened. You get a little bit too comfortable as a Storm Spirit. You jump to the back lines and realize that, hey, they have stuns that they haven't been using. That's going to be a whole bunch of kills. They even take down the Mirana in the mid lane, who stuck around for a little bit too long. A huge series of wins for CNB. And Isurus, they have a 14k gold advantage, similarly in experience. It's never too late to throw away the game, though.
No, it's definitely not. Dropping down very heavily after that exchange, especially Klotz 2 collecting in that last fight. Tier 2 tower in mid going to be the immediate cost of it. My goodness, that is a downward slope. Isurus need to make sure that they don't get too ahead of themselves. DDX probably needs to wait before he has his next item, and that was a very ambitious jump onto Klotz, to put it lightly. But Broodmother wasn't involved in any of that outside of sniping the Witch Doctor as he retreated. Dulce is going to have a full level 5 Dagon whenever he wants to pick that up.
And DDX, he died twice, is at 6 Bloodstone charges now, so pretty much square one for the Storm Spirit as far as the Bloodstone is concerned. Fortunately for him, he has an Ultimate Orb already completed. He has RJ Mad grabbing a Blink Dagger, so the Troll Warlord can be a little bit more active in these fights. But Isurus, that was just... The only reason you take those types of fights ever is because you think you're very, very far ahead. Otherwise, you play it safe. You avoid the massive group of 5 heroes. It's generally just not what you do. They took a little bit of tower damage up towards top CNB for their trouble, but man, killing off DDX twice, that is a huge amount of cash flow for them.
Quest is still really struggling on the sniper, however. Only FaZe Yasser to his name, and Aquila as well, if we're really counting the sticks. He needs some more time to actually come back into it. Right now, he's closer to the Murano when it comes to net worth than to the Brooder Storm.
And that's exactly where the sniper doesn't want to be. At this point, it's pretty much just the Juggernaut who's doing the damage. Has gone for that Battle Fury in order to help clear out those Spiderlings. We have a relocation down towards bottom. This is not where they want to be, because Fullback is in a lot of trouble immediately. He's trapped in the cogs. Ned, he can take a little bit of damage, but the Voodoo Restoration not on, so he's going to die 1 for 1 so far, but DDX has no backup here. Can they reinitiate onto this? Hookshot is not available, and it looks like it'll just be an even 1 for 1 trade. That's a fight that I'm sure Isurus are going to be fine with, especially if they get a little bit more. Nadera is off to the side, invisible as well, and Storm Spirit has a very full tank of mana, so they could go in if they were really feeling it, but it looks like they're going to back off for now.
Yeah, they do have to deal with this Brood at some point. The Battle Fear on Jug's going to mean that he can do this pretty easily, but Brood will just back off and continue to farm. Dulce, after dying a bunch inside the laning stage, has pretty much been left to his own devices, which is exactly what the Broodmother wants to do. At this point, there's no tier 2 towers left on the map, so what he's doing right now is pretty much exactly what Brood should be doing, and that's taking control of the enemy woods. Big zipping in mid. DDX finds himself an Earthshaker. Will he be able to get out? He dodges a hook shot and now zips away. He's pat out of mana, however, now getting headshot down by the sniper. They just need a little bit more. Arrow going to miss. Witch Doctor ultimate going to be channeled. He can't actually zip away. Will be forced to deny out. They have an Omni Slash at the ready. Does Nadera have a leap? He does. But he still should die, especially when he gets bashed. Cleave down, he'll disjoint the assassinate, but that's not going to save your life here. The Urn Take, if nothing else, would have killed him, but Juggernaut secures the last hit.
It's once again a mighty bold jump for Isurus. You waste most of your mana getting in, therefore you don't have the mana to get out, and they don't even have full backup there. Like, Troll Warlord wasn't arriving, Dulce had no concern with that, and now his Spiderling army is going to get cleaved through. Oh my god, the money. So much cash for Klotz. I don't know exactly how much that was, but I can tell you it was a hell of a lot, and Dulce, he has the Dagon, yeah, he's able to burst down someone pretty easily, but who is he actually going to throw that spell damage towards? It'll hurt the sniper pretty badly. He might be able to kill off one hero, but other than that, Dulce is, farming up for this item that is so far dead in his inventory. He needs to be using it right now, and he might get a chance as DDX makes a big jump up towards top. Well, he gets kill stolen again, but, that's not really what you want your Broodmother to be doing. Any hero could be doing that.
Yeah, definitely so. And honestly, the Sniper's not that big of an issue. He just has a Manta, and Sniper isn't doing much. RJ Mad going to be taking out a Roshan in the meantime, with some help from the Io as well as his dominated Alpha Wolf. And they will find a secondary life that they will give to the Troll himself. It's interesting to see them not give it to DDX, especially after so many aggressive jumps. But maybe they've talked down DDX, and maybe he's come down to earth a little bit.
Also, GDX just way too far away. You can't really afford to wait in the Roshan pit when you see bottom lane being pushed and there's a Juggernaut on the enemy side who could walk right in, grab an Aegis, and then you're in for a real world of hurt. So RJ Mad is not exactly the hero that they want to have with the Aegis, but it's better than having no Aegis at all. So they'll take what they can get. In the meantime, DDX grabs a Sheep Stick, and he is on the hunt up towards the top lane. If he's going to partner up with Dulce, then that's exactly what they should be doing, looking for easy pickoffs. And once you jump in and Orchid someone, as soon as you throw that Dagon, they're dead. They're going to jump in instead for Klotz way down towards bottom. Cask is going to bounce through to pull back. DDX, though, has more than enough control to kill off this Juggernaut. Ned going to try to do what he can versus the Storm with his Death Ward channel. That Maledict is going to do quite a bit of damage, I think, but it is far, far, far from lethal. In the meantime, top lane, Dulce going for a solo kill on the sniper. Dagon Blast obviously is going to be enough. Pullback and DDX are going to arrive. A little bit late to that party, but they have a pretty good position to push this lane, though.
Yeah, and they should be able to do that. The Troll's been pushing down towards bottom, so they should be able to get some sort of tower damage one way or another as soon as they force out a reaction coming up from CNB. Only the Earthshaker and Clockwork Ally means that Isurus are pretty safe to do whatever they'd like to. The Earthshaker's down towards bottom trying to deal with the Troll, but that means that Storm will chunk away at this tier 3 tower. The Troll ultimate's still going to do a lot. Now the Earthshaker turned upon RJ Mad is coming back with a vengeance. Tier 3 tower and bottom is going to fall, as is the one up towards top. Hookshot. They find themselves an IO in the backlines, and that's nice and all, but it costs them a buyback on Klotz. To top it all off, they lose a melee barracks in top. Zip in. Well, the Witch Doctor not going to be living for much longer as he gets orchided down. The damage coming out from Jug is decent, but unless they get a bash, Storm Spirit's just going to be able to zip TP out, and he's going to be just fine.
And that's GG. They just can't play whack-a-mole with this many heroes for that much longer, because they go for the IO, they use the ultimate of the Juggernaut and the Clockwork in order to kill him off. In the meantime, RJ Mad is still just chilling in the bottom lane, and they have 3 heroes Isurus up towards top, just pushing that one out. So you waste all your assets on a hero that is, well, let's say for the most part, irrelevant in the pushing game. Then all the relevant pushing heroes are knocking at your front door. That is going to be it, and looks like they'll decide to disconnect instead of let the Ancient explode, but we'll get there eventually. It's a really nice game from Isurus, and, well, I always say it, but the safe money from JDL is on a tie, so you guys should all heed my advice. Bet on the tie, and most of the time, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. For some reason, their Ancient still hasn't died yet. Who knows why? We're paused. We're just kind of chilling here, waiting for this game to end. It's obvious